Welcome, everyone. I'm astrologer Donna Ellis. I hear people ask about the empty houses in their natal chart. Mostly they're worried that it means nothing eventful will ever happen in that part of life, and that's simply not true. So let's take a look at a natal chart, and I'll show you how and why all houses, even if no one's home, have a vibe, they have a set of house rules, and that over time, all houses will receive many influential visitors. Among the visitors to the houses of your chart are, of course, transiting planets. So if a house doesn't have a permanent resident, the visitor can exert some undiluted influence within the house rules. In this case, that would be values and valuables, perhaps ordinary income. But if a natal planet was already in residence, the visitor would have to consider that planet's presence, its wishes, its ways of doing things, and its conversation with other planets in the natal chart. The easiest way to get a feel for transits to your natal chart is to track the moon. The moon goes around the entire chart once a month, so even a house that has no permanent resident, the moon will be along soon, doing its job as the ambassador of needs and feelings and sometimes public relations. If you've ever been in a sour mood and had to apologize for it, you have an idea of what that's about. But with the moon's travels each month to some part of your chart will be a new moon, a full moon, and sometimes an eclipse. And that can put an emphasis on any house in the chart, especially one that has no one home. So when I talk about the houses in a chart and I talk about their vibe or their house rules, here's what I mean. The second house rules are second house things like values and valuables or your ordinary income. And the doorman is Aquarius, so the vibe begins with Aquarius, but it segues into Pisces. So there's an undercurrent of unusual knowledge, sudden intuition, humanitarian dreams, or maybe even something like a way that the collective can find the first step forward in faith to find a more compassionate future together. Progressed charts also have an influence on houses. The three that I use are the solar return, the secondary progressed, and the solar arc direction. The solar return chart is like your natal sun's birthday wishes for you for the new year or its plans. It can put the sun in various houses of your natal chart over time, including the original birth placement. And sometimes the sun will appear in one house or another repeatedly over the course of a lifetime, placing an emphasis on that particular area of life. And the secondary progressed chart, which is about the moon, also puts the moon in different houses of the chart, but it can also leave the emphasis of the moon in one house for a consecutive number of years, placing an emphasis on the needs of that particular house. Progressions by solar arc direction can send the influence of your natal planets and of sensitive points like the midheaven and the ascendant to work in houses in a dramatic way. Here we see in this chart the person born with a Capricorn rising likely felt a sense of duty or may have been responsible for themselves or for others at a very young age, or may have been thought to be to themselves or dour when that may not be the case at all. But by age 25, when the ascendant moved into Aquarius, it's likely that they became more social, more eclectic and inventive, and may even have made a very sudden and rather shocking change to their appearance. And then by the time I got to age 29 and all these Aquarian values are moving into the house of values and valuables, if they weren't collecting odd objects or finding out what they love in a new way, they may have put their liberated self into earning ordinary income in an unusual way. So I hope this gives you some idea of how all houses have share, and give influence. And, worry is available in wretched abundance in this world. And I hope that you won't use astrology to add to that burden. Astrology is a great tool. It can give you timing. It's like traffic and weather for where we're going. We can understand the energetic piece of where we're headed. And that way we can choose to not participate in the chaos or the craziness and just find our way forward, get where we're going. I think that's the best use of that, especially right now as I'm recording this in July of 2021. So if you're new here, welcome. You'll never be a stranger again. And I hope that you'll subscribe. I'd love to have you as a subscriber. And I hope that you also visit my website and consider joining us for one of the Astrology Live online groups where we can take a look at your chart that day if you give me permission in context with what's going on in the traffic and weather. So I'm Donna Ellis. I'm wishing you all good things until we meet again.